Episode 32 of the Splash Sports Podcast, and he's here. He has returned. Barrett Roberts has returned because we're talking about basketball.
Right.
Just joking. He actually finished his calc homework for once, so clap it up, Russ. Clap it up. He's here. We did it.
Thank you.
Happy Monday to you all. A wild weekend of sports, as they say. A lot of changes NFL-wise, NCAA basketball. We're going to get into it. And we also have some MLB news to talk about the back end. But let's get to our winners and losers of the week. Barrett, since you haven't been here, we're going to let you go first because you got a pretty big winner too.
Oh, huge winner. Huge winner. Actually, I think this calls for a wardrobe change. Hold on.
All right.
Got to go with tried and true Washington Commanders, baby.
Let's go.
We have finally won a playoff game. First time since 2005. First time since any of us have been alive. We beat the Buccaneers. Last team we beat in the playoffs was also the Buccaneers. But overall, great game. Went on a doinked-in field goal. I was ecstatic. Another friend of mine who's also a Commanders fan was ecstatic as well. It's just a great time to be alive for a Commanders fan, so they're my winner.
What about your loser?
My loser is going to be Kyle Tucker of the Chicago Cubs. And it's not just because he's on the Cubs, even though, they're not the best team in the MLB right now. Not terrible, but not the best. Kyle Tucker, for those who do not know, it's like arbitration period in the MLB, which is basically where Kyle Tucker has told the Cubs he values himself at about $17.5 million a year for his contract. And the Cubs, they kind of blindfoldly said, we value you at $15 million. So there's a pretty big, like $2.5 million discrepancy where they kind of need to sort some things out. So he's going to go into arbitration, which is never good for a star player, especially a player of Kyle Tucker's caliber. So hopefully they give him his money because I think he's well worth that $17.5 million.
There you go. Big word, discrepancy right there. I like that. Big word.
Discrepancy.
Didn't even say it right. That's how big it was. Juris.
My winner of the week is going to be the Bills. Other than the first drive for the Broncos, they just really handled business here. They scored 31 unanswered points. I think they just looked solid. They took care of business. Josh Allen had 270 yards and 2 touchdowns, and James Cook also had 120 total yards. So I think they kind of just took care of business here, and they're healthy heading into the big game against the Ravens. And then my loser will be of the week will be Auburn men's basketball team. They did go to number 1 this week with Tennessee losing, but they did lose probably one of, if not the most valuable player in college basketball in Janai Brim. He suffered a bad ankle injury. Reports said maybe 2 to 4 weeks. I think they'll take it pretty slow with him because just of how valuable he is. But this week they have Mississippi State, I think, and the next game is at Georgia. I think these 2 games will be very tough games for them to win. So you do hate to see it for Brim, who's putting up a National Player of the Year campaign. And so hopefully he can get back healthy for Auburn and they can make a title run.
There you go. My loser of the week, I'm going to go winner last because, it's a pretty big dub in my opinion. But my loser of the week is the Dallas Cowboys. Fired Mike McCarthy after he went 7-9 with a backup quarterback. Very tough to do. I also think that Jerry Jones should be out, but he's going to be there till he dies. So that's my loser of the week. Didn't really have a good winner nor loser. But I do have a good winner because when I swerve around that corner, whoa, that boy Jello Ball signed an $8 million contract with Def Jam Records. Shout out 13 $13 million. Reported by Shams. Shout out to Shams, always keeping us. That was impressive. Always keeping us in the loop regarding the Ball brothers. But he made a banger song. I expect another. Can he deliver?
We need the album.
We do need an album. But just the song, just remix.
Featuring, if it featured Lonzo, it would be like.
Lonzo, I feel like Lonzo's tough.
Lonzo's made out some songs.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Let's jump to the NFL playoffs first. Then we're going to get to the head coaches. NFL playoffs did happen this weekend. There's currently a game going on right now. Not watching it. Probably should watch it. But I don't know what the score is either. But let's talk about the Saturday game, right? There's two Saturday games, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I believe
Yes.
no, not the Bills and Broncos. It was the
Ravens.
Ravens and Steelers. The
And
Steelers are all right. What was the other one?
Chargers, Texans.
That's right.
Very enthusiastic. Oh, the Nickelodeon game. That's right. Always a fun experience. Let's talk about Baltimore and Pittsburgh first. Pittsburgh is probably they're just stuck with Mike Tomlin. I'll ask this question later, but will they get rid of Mike Tomlin? But we're going to talk about the game. Derrick Henry destroyed them. Lamar Jackson destroyed them. The Steelers did not look like they wanted to be there. Defense fell apart. Offensively, they had that one good drive with Russ. They let him cook, and then they kind of took away the kitchen utensils. So, any other thoughts?
Just that I was listening to a couple things today about Steelers, and I think that a lot of people have kind of hit the nail on the head. It's like they hold their veterans almost too long. Like they'll hold them extra 2 years. They held Roethlisberger a couple years longer than they should have. And I think that if they don't let Wilson walk and play Fields this year, I think that thing could happen again. I do think they have a bunch of talent here, but you can tell by the way George Pickens talks. Like he was asked, do you think they're going to improve next year? And he was just like, nah. So I think that there's a little bit of a locker room issue there. I don't know if it's all Mike Tomlin. I just think that that they're just. I mean, they're kind of like Hunter said, they're just stuck right now, and they're going to be a 9-8 team. That doesn't win a playoff game for I think I forgot how many the past few years, but
the last time they won was 2016 when they made the AFC Championship.
Yeah, and they've had a winning record ever since, and I just think that says that they're just a solid team that just can't make any progress in the postseason.
I think that's right. It might not be right, but sounds right. Barrett, any thoughts, or do you want to answer the Mike Tomlin question?
Do they move on from Mike Tomlin? I guess I don't know. I feel like they probably will, but at the same time, I don't think they should. Like, I feel like he's just been there for so long. He's kind of developed a culture, and they're by no means a bad team. But I kind of consider this maybe like similar to like Calipari at Kentucky. Like, he's been pretty good in recent, but like as the years have gone on, he started to become more of an average coach, I'd say, kind of struggling to get them over the hump to where they need to be, but definitely not a bad coach. So I'll say that they do move on from him, but I wouldn't say it's definitely the right decision by any means.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think a lot of the issues also stem from they haven't had a quarterback there. The quarterback consistency is rough. I mean, Russ was all right throughout the season. Justin Fields came in, was pretty good too. It's interesting to see how they kind of play around with the quarterback position. I think that they should start Fields, honestly, give the young guy a shot. I mean, Russ played valuable minutes and put up solid numbers, but at this point, there needs to be a change, and you need to go with a guy that is going to be there for a couple years. It's going to be healthy. I mean, Russ, he's 30, 36. So, I mean, he's older. I'd go with a guy like Justin Fields, but who really knows what they're going to do? Let's go to the Nickelodeon game, which was the Texans and the Chargers. Chargers made it in after no one really expected them to. Expect them to be all right. Chargers make it in. Justin Herbert played really rough. Hated to see that out of my boy. But CJ Stroud moves on. He gets to face the Chiefs yet again. Hopefully it's not like the game before Christmas, which was very hard to watch if you're a Texans fan. G. Russ, kind of thoughts on the Chargers-Texans game?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Hunter, I know you love Justin Herbert a lot, but I think that it's time because everybody's living in the world where it's they've given him so many excuses in the past. Well, he had a bad coach. Well, he blew a 27-point lead in the playoffs, but he had Brandon Staley, so everybody gave him the pass for that. But when you go around, and he had a very good team this year, in my opinion. Maybe talent wasn't there, but it was just a very well-built team, I feel like. I feel like the defense was very good, but when you go 14 of 32 for 240 yards, 80 of those yards coming off one play, and you throw 4 picks, I think that's just I just don't think you have an excuse at this point. So I think for Chargers, I think people need to stop saying that, stop giving Justin Herbert the pass and start criticizing him more. What?
None.
Okay.
Barrett, for the Texans, how do you think they feel heading into the Chiefs?
I feel pretty good after that blowout win. I know Chargers not the best team in the NFL, probably one of the lower tier teams in the playoffs, but playoff blowout win, those don't come around very often. I'm feeling good if I'm the Texans. I like what I got with CJ Stroud.
Sophomore slump for CJ Stroud, overcame it in that game. Of course, Justin Herbert, like you just said, 4 interceptions. I don't think that they'll move on from him yet. I think they're going to give him another year, let this team build up around him even more. Like you said, it wasn't a bad team. I think it was honestly a pretty well-built roster. But I got faith in my boy. Shout out. And then let's go to the other game, the Bills. There's 2 other ones. We got the Bills and who do they play? The Broncos. Broncos look good for one drive. I'm just going to quickly highlight this one because the Bills just dominate them. Josh Allen proving why he might be the MVP. Lamar also proved why he might be the MVP. We'll figure that out in a couple weeks. But overall, Bills get the Ravens. Excited to see it. I think whoever wins that one will be the Super Bowl champion. I'll say that right now. Don't think that's too controversial. Don't think anybody in the NFC is going to win it. Even Barrett's Commanders. And speaking of Commanders, they played the Bucks at Tampa Bay. Barrett, go ahead and talk about it since you're diehard.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Very exciting game, back and forth. Obviously came down to the wire, like I discussed earlier, but I thought it was very exciting. I think Jaden Daniels kind of proved to be the difference in the game. I thought the Commanders' defense played well enough for them to stay in the game, which is kind of what they needed to do. They don't. They're good. They're a solid defense, but not elite. So they did their job, and they gave Jaden the ball as much as they could, which is all you can do. And just give him the ball. He's been pretty dang good this year in the clutch moments. So I like the ball in Five's hands. So yeah, good win by the Commanders. Just great time to be alive.
I don't think I've ever seen a kicker more nervous
Yeah.
before attempting the game-winning kick. Zane Gonzalez was stressing. I felt for the man, but he nailed it. I wouldn't say nailed it, but it went in.
He made it.
Doinked it in. We love a good doink every once in a while. Giros, as for the Bucks, do they keep things rolling with Baker? I don't think Baker was the issue. I think it really was you ain't got a whole lot there, really. You got Mike Evans. You had some injuries to the offense.
I agree. They do have Bucky Irving, I think, is going to be a star running back in the league. The only thing you can blame Baker for is the fumble that did lead to the Jane Daniels touchdown on that 4th down and goal. But I mean, I think you run it back with this team. Mike Evans is getting older, but I think that's the only worry with this team right now because Chris Godwin looked great this year with the new offensive coordinator. Bucky Irvin and Rachaad White is a great duo together, so I expect them to run it back and be around the same point next year.
There you go. As of filming right now, the Rams are up on the Vikings, 17-3. Kind of getting
You forgot
dominated.
Packers Eagles.
Oh yeah, shoot, forgot about them. Yeah, Packers.
Both
It
teams
wasn't
didn't
a
look
blowout.
great.
Yeah, both teams. It was rough. I didn't even watch it. I know that the Eagles. They play who they play. They play the winner of the
Probably the winner of this game tonight.
Yeah, the winner of the game right now.
Yeah.
Or it depends on the seeding, but
I think it's going to be the winner because I know we play the Lions like guaranteed.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Not much to talk about that game. It was rough, unless you all got anything.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I just saw that. Sometimes you got to avoid the rough one, and I avoided the rough one. But let's go to head coaches. The Patriots hired Mike Vrabel today or yesterday Don't know the salary. I don't think it's been announced. Vrabel played for the Patriots as a tight end. This move was kind of expected. Kind of expected that Vrabel would get a head coaching job after not having one last year. I love the hire. I think he's a culture builder. I think that he's going to do some really good things. He's got his work cut out for him. But you got Drake May there. You have the
Joe Milton.
opportunity. Yeah, Joe Milton. Hey, sorry, Boston sports fans. Yet again, you all got mad at me for saying that Joe Milton was a good quarterback. It's all right. He could be okay. I experienced the Joe Milton experience firsthand. I watched it with both my eyes in person. All right. Don't hate on me too much. You also have a top 3 pick. So you have a lot to work with if you're Mike Vrabel. Jeffrey Simmons also came out and said, hey, I'd love to go play for Vrabel again. So possibly a trade between the Titans and the Patriots there. Jiras, your kind of thoughts on the Vrabel hire?
Yeah, I just think that this was undoubtedly the right hire. I didn't hate it for Jerron Mayo, former VFL, but a lot of people around the locker room just said he wasn't ready for it, But Mike Vrabel coming in is going to bring back some of the culture Bill Belichick had, maybe not, maybe as intense, maybe, more closer to how the modern NFL is played. But I do think overall it was a great hire for the Patriots.
Barrett?
Yeah, I really like this hire. I like Vrabel a lot. I think he was kind of the scapegoat last year for the Titans, in my opinion. But yeah, I think like Grant said, he's going to kind of try to reinstill some of the Belichick culture. Hopefully, he can build up that defense to kind of what it was for some of his better teams in Tennessee, and then let Drake May go. Maybe draft Heisman winner, two-way star at the number 3 pick, Travis Hunter. Add some flair to the offense and the defense, and yeah, go with it. I think this Patriots team could be pretty good in a couple years.
There you go. Let's talk about another head coach that was let go after going 7-9. Like I said, my loser of the week. Don't really understand this one. You had a lot of injuries. It felt like the team that you saw out there was always changing because Dak was out and half their defense was injured. You honestly feel for the guy. He didn't win, but his team was always in the playoff. It wasn't like he was a bad head coach. I'm interested to see where he goes. I can see him going like to Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence, somewhere down there. I think that he would be a good fit in Jacksonville. He's not a culture builder like you would expect, but he wins. He won it. He won in Green Bay. He won in Dallas. I wouldn't be surprised if McCarthy gets hired very, very soon. Barry, your thoughts on the McCarthy since he was in your division?
Yeah. I didn't watch like the Cowboys a ton this year. I know they did have a lot of injuries, but I just kind of think back to last year when they absolutely choked to the Packers in the playoffs, and that kind of sets my foundation on him. I think he's a solid coach. Obviously, like he's been pretty good with Aaron Rodgers, but I kind of agree with the move. I don't know. I just feel like it was maybe time for a reset. I think Dallas is getting a little frustrated throughout the locker room, so I think it might have been good just to kind of reset everything. I know Jerry Jones is going to be there till the Lord takes him. But yeah, so I don't know. I think you're kind of at a crossroads in Dallas, in my opinion. Hopefully they can. Well, actually, I hope they don't bounce back next year. But for the sake of Dallas fans, hopefully they get healthy again next year and bounce back.
Jiros, thoughts of where Mike McCarthy could go? You shook your head with Jacksonville. Anywhere else you're thinking?
No, not really. That's the main spot to me. I look at him and Doug Peterson pretty similar. I think they're the type of people that can build teams up to maybe a playoff year, maybe a wild card, but I don't see them, I don't see them as Super Bowl head coaches. I think that, like Barrett said with Vrabel, McCarthy was a little bit of a scapegoat, but at the end of the day, I didn't see him winning a Super Bowl in Dallas just because of his philosophy and stuff and wanted to be the main guy who takes over offense. Like, he fired Kellen Moore. So I think he's just kind of he'll be like a guy that goes somewhere and builds them up a little bit. I think that he can transform a team into a wild card team, and that's what I'd expect him to do in like Jacksonville.
Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl, Grant.
He did.
I know he
With his
won
backup.
one. That was a little bit of a Mickey Mouse one. How? Because Brady's defense carried. Well, I don't want to get into it.
Okay.
No, I want to get into it. How?
Yeah, that was just a Mickey Mouse ring.
How is it? Did you not see the run? They didn't play anyone good. Besides, I mean, Tom Brady, that was a great win. But other than that, he didn't play anyone.
They played a
Yeah.
good Minnesota team.
With Kirk Cousins. Was it Kirk? Who was quarterback?
Case Keenum with Stephon
That's
Diggs,
all.
that
That's all you
entire
need to know
roster.
there. If it's
That
Case
team was pretty
Keenum.
good.
Yeah, that was pretty good to be. All right.
And Sam Darnold was also pretty good, and they're down 3-17 right now. So
Come back.
Not gonna lie, kind of got us there. But let's go to NCAA basketball rankings. Wait, is it up? All right, rankings came out today. Auburn, like you said, number 1. I think Iowa State number 2, if I'm not mistaken. Iowa State number 2. Bama 3. No, Florida 3. Florida 3.
Yeah.
Duke.
Bama was 5. No,
Or
Duke's
is it
3.
Duke 3?
Duke is 3.
Florida 4. Bama 5. Tennessee 6.
Something like that.
Something like that. I don't know. SEC's dominating. We talked about it, I think, I maybe talked about it on Wednesday, that the SEC's dominating. Some changes, like we said, Tennessee lost last week. Tennessee got the big dub against Texas Saturday. We saw Alabama play A&M. Alabama got the win there in College Station. Pretty good game from what I could tell. Georgia on fire. Beat Oklahoma. They got Tennessee, I think, Tuesday, right? Wednesday. Couldn't remember. And then you also have Arkansas. I think Arkansas fans are understanding that Coach Cal might not know what he's doing. Before the Tennessee game, he did not do a shoot around. He also, I think, came out on Saturday and said that he didn't know they had a midweek game that week. I don't know. I just don't like Coach Cal. I think that he's an all right coach, but he got lucky with a lot of really good players at Kentucky. And then when the well dried up, it started to show cracks. Barrett, your kind of thoughts on what Arkansas is doing, NCAA basketball, any other stuff?
Okay, on Arkansas, obviously I watched them play Tennessee, and they did what Cal did at Kentucky, in my opinion, and I watched them play Florida this past Saturday. Yeah, Florida.
Yeah.
Okay, so Arkansas, I think their biggest problem is that they're super weak on the interior, and it was super evident during the Florida game. Florida, obviously known, they've got 4 really, really good big men who rebound the crap out of the basketball on the offensive end, and it showed. Adu and Avicic could not handle it in there, and then their foreman, Brazil and Thiero, got manhandled as well. So I think that's one of their big reasons. They're super soft on the interior. And then their second is they can't shoot. John L. Davis has gone MIA this year. Who else? DJ Wagner's not shooting it well. Boogie Fland has been probably their biggest bright spot so far. But other than that, they're really, really struggling on offense. Their defense has been pretty good, in my opinion. I thought they played solid defense against Tennessee and against Florida. So I think if they make some more shots, I know that's kind of cliche, but if they make more shots, they'll win some more games. But I think that's really what it comes down to, that and the rebounding. And then I think Arkansas will be all right if they kind of clean those two up. But those are two pretty big things to clean up.
Juris, thoughts on overall NCAA basketball? I mean, ACC, I think only one ranked team, maybe 2. Kind of the fall from glory for them. Any thoughts NCAA basketball wise?
Yeah, Duke's the only ranked team there. Cooper Flag, they have 42? Was it 42?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He played really good.
Yeah, he had 42. He had a monster dunk, But going back to SEC is just stacked this year. I mean, anybody can beat anybody on any given night this year when you look at the landscape. I mean, Calipari's 0-3 for the first time, I think, in conference since his first year ever being a head coach. So I think that just goes to show you the landscape of the SEC this year and how difficult it's going to be to win that conference.
There you go. Any other NCAA news? Don't really know what else. I know that Green Bay coach has still not won a game after tweeting all that crap, but I just laugh at it every time.
Yeah, okay, I got one. Grant, how big of an impact do you think Broom's injury will be for Auburn? Do you think it's going to be pretty big, like losing a Cooper Flag for Duke, or do you think that they're pretty well rounded enough to kind of pick up the slack for a couple weeks?
Yeah, I think that Brim did everything good. When you look at all these computer ratings for him, he was the most valuable player in the league according to computers. So I think that they're the number one rated offense in the country. I think they have other guys that can pick them up, especially since Auburn plays so many players. I think that could help them. But I do think you'll see some times maybe a loss this week though that you'll see and be like, dang, we really missed Janai Brim, on the rebounding side or something like that. I don't think it'll affect their offense as much. Maybe a little bit just because he's a great passer, but I don't expect a huge drop off. I still think they're still a top 15, top 20 team.
There you go. NCAA basketball. We're going to be talking about that more and more. We'll probably do the March Madness tournament thing again. Maybe. I don't know. We'll discuss that when we get there. It's not March, but we sleep in May. Also might have a March Madness show. Barrett, would you do a March Madness show?
Absolutely.
Let's go. All right. Let's go to the MLB, your final kind of topic of the day. Roki Suzuki stated that he is out on multiple teams. I think I have the list. Let me pull it up real quick.
Padres, Blue Jays, Dodgers.
That's the teams he's in on. The teams he's out on, he announced today that both New York teams, Yankees and Mets. What?
Every other team.
Essentially, but there were a couple other teams in the ring. I want to talk about the Yankees, okay? The Yankees out, Mets out, Rangers out, and then the other three, like you all just mentioned, are still in. Dodgers, I would assume to be the favorite. Maybe. I also think the Padres have a really good shot at winning that. I think that the Padres are probably going to throw more money at them, realistically, just because I feel like they need to fill that need in their roster. The Dodgers, I mean, you could just defer it. I hate that rule. I think it's stupid. But I'll put my differences aside. You got to do what you got to do sometimes. Probably the Yankees are doing it too. I don't know. They just don't announce it. Anyway, I would say the Padres probably lead it. Who's the other team? The Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are always in.
Blue Jays are not getting them.
Yeah, the Blue Jays are always in on these types of players. Like, not these types of players, but like on these big sweepstakes. They're still in on Anthony Santander. They're still in on a couple other guys that realistically they're not going to get. Roki's not going to go to the Blue Jays. So, Giros, your kind of thoughts on? Roki, I know you said the Padres, but
yeah, I think it's the Padres. There's some rule in the MLB because it's like there's only a certain amount of money you can spend on international players their first year in the league. Yes. Like Braves could only spend $3.5 million, so Braves couldn't get him.
International pool money.
But I do think that Padres had the most to spend. It looks like, and it looks like it'd just be the better fit there, where he could be the 1 or 2, whereas Dodgers he may be the 4 or 5. I think.
Yeah. Barrett, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Padres definitely need him more. He's also a big, I don't know, like friend. He looks very highly upon Yu Darvish, and Yu Darvish is obviously on the Padres. I think that's going to play a big part in it. Obviously, on the Dodgers side, you got Shohei and Yoshi who are going to try to be recruiting him. So I don't know.
Han Kim.
Well, he's Korean.
And he's free agent, and he's coming to the Braves.
All right, my bad. No, the other guy, the second baseman that they just signed.
Yeah, Ha-Sung Kim.
Sorry,
I was thinking about Hai-Sung Kim.
Oh, Hai-Sung.
Ha-Sung Kim, shortstop, former Padres player. He's a free agent right now. Braves would be good investment. Anyways, I guess it depends on what he values more. Like, I'm not gonna say like playing time, but like, does he want to be the guy for the Padres, or does he want to be the third or fourth best pitcher in the Dodgers rotation behind Shohei, Yamamoto, and Glasnow? So I don't know. I feel like he's going to end up going to the Padres. I feel like he seems to value like impacting a team more so than just winning a bunch of championships.
Yeah, I feel like realistically makes the most sense for both sides. I mean, the Dodgers would love to have him. I'm sure they would love to have everyone because that's how they spend their money nowadays. But let that be.
Yankees try to do that though, Hunter.
Yeah, we do. And then they say, we actually don't want to sign here because we don't want to give our players a suite. Screw Ron Soto. I'll say it till I die. Screw him. 1 year was great, but go finish third in the NL Central every year and losing the wild card. Sorry, pal. But yeah, there you go. That's MLB. That is the show, episode 32. Barrett made it. Juris, me. Barrett, will you film Wednesday?
Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe. We might film early. Maybe. Depending on your practice. But don't look at me like that, Juris. We can film early sometimes. Anyway, see you Wednesday. Jesus loves you. Peace out. There it is. Been missing that for a while. And end.